It's like if someone asked me, all right, Evan, who's your favorite radio partner you've ever worked with? Well, Joe and Craig aren't here.
What?
So I would
What? Well, that better be one answer, and that answer better come quick.
Oh, I'm taking my bows over here, Craig. What the hell?
I would keep the person I'm with happy. How you doing, Craig? How you been?
I'm doing great. How are you guys? Pleasure to be on with you. I was really hoping that you might reach out to me on Friday when Tiki was out, so we could have gotten the gang back together, but the phone didn't ring.
I was a little nervous about that, Craig, so I vetoed that one.
By the way, I did hear a rumor that it's in Tiki's contract that when he's out, I'm not allowed to come around.
Is it? I mean, I don't know. I haven't even looked at my contract, I don't think.
So how you been? Do you miss radio, or are you all in love with TV?
I'm loving what I'm doing, but as I've said to a million people, like radio is what I've done the best and the longest, and my first love, and the fan has always been a special place. You guys all know that. But, the opportunity to be at FS1, and we have a great fall coming up. Obviously, football is king across the board. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's different. It's new still, and I'm having a good time.
How much soccer did you talk, Craig?
Yeah, I know you're the soccer guy in the room.
I'm just
Tiki.
asking. I mean, you guys had soccer, so how much soccer did you talk?
Much like WFAN, no one tells me what to talk about, but I did bring up that crazy header save yesterday.
Nice.
And I did bring up the fact that for the first time, I think, possibly ever, you're the soccer historian, so help me out with this, a soccer player went down and he was legitimately injured.
Yes.
Because Messi's ankle,
yes,
I think he broke the leg personally, or the ankle.
He might have that tightrope thing because it looked like a fibula.
Yeah, like normally they roll around, wah, 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 and then all of a sudden, whoop, they're right back up. But dude took off his cleat. That was no joke.
Right.
Crazy.
And the spray didn't work because they bring out the spray all the time.
Oh, is that what they do?
I don't even know what that spray is.
I was trying to think this, though. So Messi's arguably, still the greatest player on the planet. Certainly one of them, for sure. I was trying to think, when I saw it yesterday and I'm talking about it this morning a little bit on TV, could you imagine, take, Aaron Judge. Use Aaron Judge as an example. Use Pete Alonso, I guess, as an example. If you want to go back in the day, Eli, whatever, right? Great player, like the clear leader and figurehead of any local team. If a guy got hurt in a major playoff game, a championship game, and wept on the sideline the way Messi did, I was trying to figure out how would we as fans react to that?
Well, it depends on if you win.
Fair point.
Right.
Fair point.
And if you win, then it's kind of, you get sympathy. But if they lose and you're just unavailable and it turns out not to be that serious, then you are a crybaby.
Yeah. So to me,
you've lost all our respect.
You'll remember this as much as anyone. I remember, the Jay Cutler playoff game in Chicago.
100%.
When he took himself out, I think it was his knee, if I'm not mistaken, and they lost the game, and he was ridiculed, A to Z, top to bottom, and he was like, dude, I couldn't walk. Like, I did it for the benefit of the team.
Right.
And he was killed in Chicago.
He didn't recover from that.
Right. But I think because we saw the photo of Messi, everyone would have to say, yeah, the dude was legitimately hurt. But I was wondering, how would we react to, a tough guy, an athlete, which is still like the last bastion of manhood on this planet, if he was crying like that?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to forgive them, but they won, so you'll forget it.
It all depends on who the athlete is.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain guys around here that deities. They can do no wrong. So I think if it's that guy, we'd all be like, oh, God, you feel for him.
Yeah.
But if it's someone who's underperformed, we turn on him.
Yeah,
in other words, I know it wasn't a World Series game. I don't think it was. When Jeter, flew into the crowd at third base, and A-Rod was kind of watching him do it, and he flew into the crowd, and he came out bloody. If he went to the bench and was crying like a baby, we'd probably give him a pass.
Jeter would be viewed very differently.
Yeah, he'd be the king for all of us.
By the way, Loogie, can you take note for Hurley? Craig Carton came on and he talked soccer with us. It is now acceptable.
Yeah,
for
but
me to do so.
I still don't quite understand why we have two major tournaments at the same exact time.
No, I know that makes no sense.
I understand that and why.
Hey, it's right. Fox had them both. Fox had them both. So it was all good.
Did you talk about Bronny James again today, or have you taken a break from that?
Bronny James is like manna from heaven. I can't get enough. the best thing, the two best things to me about Bronny James is one, he can't play at the NBA level, and anyone that thinks he can is just delusional or LeBron stan that finds everything LeBron does is the greatest thing since sliced bread. The second thing is, I think people have gotten it twisted because Bronny's probably a really good kid, right? Who just grew up in a very unique circumstance that no one else can really compare to or ever possibly understand what that's like.
Right.
Being the son of such a major superstar, it'd be like being Madonna's kid, Pink's kid, whatever.
And then going in the industry.
Yeah, right. And now, hey, Pink's daughter's going to sing. Well, she's not as good as Pink. And I don't know why I'm using Pink, but I guess you could use like Michael Jackson, whatever it is. Right? Like, nobody wanted to see the victory tour for Tito. Right.
Right.
But I was thinking about it, and I think sometimes people, like what we all do for a living, have gotten the dream twisted. It was LeBron's dream to play with his son. Now, every son, of course, wants to, at some level, walk in his dad's footsteps, and then most people grow out of that and do their own thing. Not everyone, of course, but most people do. But, and because we're discussing now, well, he's clearly not an NBA player. Will he even go to the G League? And he's probably not a G League player either. And I was reminding people, at least in my opinion, LeBron's dream, which is the only thing that matters here, was that he got to play with his son, not I want to see my son drafted to play in the NBA, because those are two very different things.
Right. And I also wonder, is it Bronny's dream to play with LeBron, or is it just, I want to be in the NBA? I want to be a basketball player. Is it going to mean that much to play 5 minutes with LeBron James?
And you got to think the dream for any kid, who's, was, whatever, 5 points a game at USC, a couple points a game in Vegas right now. I would think his dream is just to become a pro, right?
Right, of course.
Which is hard enough.
Yeah.
Right.
We make it seem like it's easy. You got drafted. You're going to make it. No, you're not.
Talking, there's essentially 450 guys in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Ball, give or take a couple. It's not even close. These are the 450, they're unicorns.
Yeah.
And he wants to be one of them. He's just not. So we'll see whose dream counts more from the relationship of, is he on the Laker roster or does he go to the Laker G League team?
Now, I had a dream years ago of watching my basketball team win an NBA championship. It got lit on fire. Things went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And your team, the New York Knicks, New York's team, the New York Knicks, are very good. And a couple of weeks ago, I was hit with news that I did not see coming. News that I did not expect.
My guy Bridges.
And that is Mikal Bridges, overrated, fugazi, not a star.
Hating?
He was Evan's favorite player the last 2 years.
Wow, big change. And now he's a member of the New York Knicks. So I ask you as a diehard Knicks fan, you got Mikal Bridges, you obviously have the city, you've got a real contender. Yeah. Do you think this is a championship team? Do you think they could beat the Boston Celtics? Do you think you can see an NBA title soon?
Look, I think it's on the table. I'm not as much of a Knicks fan as I am. And look, I like the Knicks more than any team I've ever rooted for, including the New York Jets, which I'm crazy about, as you know. I think the Knicks are in the conversation. Obviously, you worry about the big man, Mitchell Robinson, can't be on the court in the last 5 minutes of a game where you're going to need, somebody to score from the five, obviously, at some level. But I think for the first time, legitimately, we can lay claim that we have a chance to make the run. I think we could give the Celtics some fits defensively. And I think it's the Celtics, clearly the best team in the East. I think still the best team in all of basketball. And I think Team USA did a major disservice to the Knicks because Jaylen Brown's going to be pissed. He's going to come back pissed off that Derek White got chosen to replace Kawhi Leonard and not the Eastern Conference Final MVP and the NBA Finals MVP. But I do think if you take all the pie in the sky nonsense and throw it out, all the bing bong and throw it out, you can't, from just a pure basketball standpoint, argue against the fact that the Knicks are in the conversation.
Yeah, they just got to be able to beat the Celtics, which is easier
and stay healthy.
It's really more that. It's really more stay healthy because they did it at the end of the season.
But I think the Knicks, and I don't think it's going to be close. And Evan, correct me if I'm wrong. I think statistically, the Celtics were the best team points against in the NBA last year.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm wrong, I'm off by one, maybe. I think the Knicks might have by far the best scoring defense in the league next year.
Yeah. I mean, their wings are incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they have put together. I saw you tweet earlier today, quote, the Yankees have the second most wins in the sport and are tied for the most in the American League after a horrendous month, and the panic you hear on the radio is off the charts. Yep. Why do you think Yankee fans are panicking, despite the fact that your math is correct? They're a game out of first place, and they do have the record you said they have.
They got 58 wins. Like only the Phillies have more wins than all baseball. Research.
And not long.
Look, they've been the worst team in baseball for the last month. I get the panic. And I even said, you left this part out. This is what makes Sports Talk Radio New York so much fun, that a team that's got the second best record in all of baseball. And if you listen to Tierney, the sky is falling. Where's Chicken Little? They're the worst team in baseball, and they're 5 players away from winning a World Series. I think the beauty of baseball, what you love most about it, is that it's unlike every other sport. You can have a horrendous month and still win a World Series. Mm-hmm. And we're at the All-Star break. There's a lot of baseball left to go. And the pitching staff, which obviously has been brutal the last 4 weeks or so, but dominated the first couple months of the season, I still believe that they'll turn it around. Obviously, look, if Volpe, picks an easy routine ground ball, they sweep the Orioles, and they're in first place with the best record in the American League. And I think there are times when, in the moment, we overreact and we take a mini step backwards. And, you can kind of see the forest for the trees. But I do have a solution, if I may.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because the Yankees, they don't limp into the All-Star break. But for some people, sure, why not?
Yeah.
They limp into the All-Star break. And it seems to me that the New York Yankees, all they really need is a little positive juju. Mm-hmm. Like a good luck charm, if you will.
Okay.
The Mets had the rally pimp in April.
Yeah.
They had Grimace in June.
Okay.
They got some fat guy dancing to ABBA, I think, now. And that has worked for them. So I got an interesting phone call a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call directly from the New York Yankees.
Wow.
I want to be very clear about this. The Yankees called me on my personal bat phone, okay?
Right.
Okay.
The New York Yankees have asked me, Craig Carton, who you might have seen, Hall of Famer. I don't know if you saw that.
Congratulations on that.
I'm not sure if that was,
we buried the lead over here. Right?
I'm not sure if that was discussed, from 6A to 7P. But I was I was blessed last week with induction into the New York State Broadcasters Association's Hall of Fame, joining among other people Boomer Esiason.
Word.
And Susan Waldman, longtime voice of the New York Yankees, and of course the very first voice on WFAN all those years ago.
Why? Yeah. Why do you choose her specifically to
That's
highlight?
a very good question, Tiki. See, this is a probing interview like Mike Wallace. I'm going to answer the question. The New York Yankees called me, and then I confirmed that this wasn't some kind of prank with WFAN. I have been asked, and this is one of the great asks of my career and my lifetime. The Yankees have asked me to do the radio play-by-play of the Yankees-Rangers series August 9th, 10th, and 11th, which is a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'll be doing those 3 games with Susan Waldman.
No way. No way possible.
This is not a bit. This is not shtick. The Yankees requested it. We had a conversation, of course, with the architect and WFAN. They have blessed it as well. And I have the great honor of a lifetime, having done a couple Nets NBA games, having done an Islander game, having done a Cyclone game way back in the day. Please don't find that tape. And it's really one of the craziest out of left field, pardon the pun, asks. And I said yes in a New York second.
Nice.
But on August 9th, 10th, and 11th, yours truly, I will be doing the radio play-by-play along with Susan Waldman.
Along with Susan Waldman? Like in the same booth? You're going to be together?
Susan Waldman and I will be broadcasting the New York Yankees games. It's one series, all 3 games against the Texas Rangers at Yankee Stadium. But it's a great honor. It's a privilege.
Craig, was this ever a career aspiration for you? Not the Yankees specifically, but just to do and be a play-by-play guy.
All right, so my first job in radio was at WGR in Buffalo, New York, AM 550, okay?
Okay.
And they had the rights to the Buffalo Bisons, which was a AAA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Greg Brown, the longtime voice of the Pirates, was the sports guy and did games with a guy named Pete Weber in Buffalo. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s, when I first started in radio, which was 1991. And I was always enthralled with the great, baseball voices, growing up, obviously, in New York and having Bob Murphy and then Gary Thorne, who I think is one of the greatest baseball voices of all time, Bob Costas, all the legends, right? I would go into a studio in this tiny little AM radio station, close the door, and I would invent the play-by-play, the actual plays of a baseball game, all by myself, sitting in a studio, and then pipe in fake crowd sounds and cheers and whatnot afterwards. And I made demo tapes of baseball play-by-play, but it was all invented. It never happened. So to answer your question, very early in my career, I fancied the notion of maybe doing baseball play-by-play. To be completely honest with you, I've not done a lot of it. I did one game on TV many, many years ago at Syracuse with an NBC truck. I did the radio game with Boomer for the Cyclones, and I've done more basketball than anything else. But it is a dream come true. And look, it's the New York Yankees, man.
Sure.
And it's the legend of John Sterling, of course, and Mel Allen. Like, I'm going to be sitting in the booth where only a couple people in the history of the Yankee franchise have ever been able to say that they called a Yankee game on the radio. Look, Bob Wolf, the late Bob Wolf, was a mentor of mine. When I was at New Rochelle High School, I took a sports broadcasting class with Bob Wolf, and we went to Yankee Stadium. Obviously, he called the perfect game in the World Series, the Don Larson game to Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
And I stayed in touch with Bob, for 30 years after that high school class. And he kind of taught me the nuance of how to do baseball play-by-play, how to keep the charts and all the stuff that Evan, wrote a book about now. And I got to tell you, when the Yankees called me and asked me, I thought for sure I was being punked.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the great honors of a lifetime. And to be able to do it, especially with Susan, who's been there for 25 years, it's going to be awesome.
Well, I thought I was being punked for the first 45 seconds. So on August 9th, the New York Yankees, the Texas Rangers, Craig Carton, Susan Waldman in the same press box, calling the same game. Goodness gracious.
Right,
I am excited.
1019 FM or on the Odyssey app, by the way. I listen on the Odyssey app.
There you go. It's August 9th.
Yeah.
It's August 10th. And it's August 11th.
Oh, my God.
Wait, so hold on, Craig. August 9th is a night game, I'm assuming.
That is a Friday night, yeah.
So it's a Friday night game. You're going to have to turn right around because I'm sure August 10th is a day game.
Yes.
That's a Saturday, yeah.
And go right back. And then you're going to have to go right back again for a day game on Sunday, correct?
Yes, that is correct. You've got the math down right.
You're going to work harder on these 3 days than you have in the last month.
A long time. Here's the thing a lot of people don't know. The New York Yankees have a penthouse apartment in Yankee Stadium. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sleeping in it.
This is going to be the first time you watch a full baseball game, all 9 innings, in years.
Yeah, but here's the beauty.
Are you worried about being exhausted?
No. I'm not worried about that. It's funny because I've been asked a lot, do you have, for the very few people, not a lot, really nobody knows about this.
Right.
This is breaking news, obviously.
Well, now a lot of people know about this, by the way.
Yeah, well, everybody knows about it now, and I'm sure, look, I know what's going to happen. I'll get beat down on the internet, whatever. It's all good. That's just flat jealousy is all that is.
It's only 8.5 for 9% of the population.
And by the way,
so
it's a Hall of Famer doing a radio broadcast. That's what we do. All right. But so I do not have a set home run call. I want to be clear about that. I'm not going to do something that's clownish because, I got to leave the crazy home run calls to the memory of John, obviously, and his greatness over all the years. But I'll do my thing and I'll make sure that it's unmistakably me. And it's just awesome. Looking forward to it.
What if you do, because I think you will do a great job. I mean, jokes aside, I think you're going to call a hell of a game. What if the Yankees and WFAN come to you and say, you're the guy? You should be the Yankee broadcaster from here on out. I mean, would you consider this as a possibility?
There got to be a lot of zeros in that check. Look, it's funny you ask that because I have family members who do know about this who are like, well, hey, what if it goes great? And Hal Steinbrenner calls you and goes, you're the guy. Look, that's pie in the sky right now. I don't think that would happen. I don't think it's going to happen. They're obviously very talented broadcasters who only want to do this, who are very, very good at it. But let's see what happens. I mean, if it's great and that phone rings again saying you're the guy, I don't know. I got a job.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what I appreciate? When we do our shows on Monday, August 12th and Tuesday, August 13th, we got a lot of material.
Right.
Well, and that's so.
Guess
that's
what clips we get to pull now, Craig?
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware that if I have a major flub, I'm never, ever going to live it down. So to me, there's two aspects of doing the game, right? There's the actual, ground ball to short, Volpe's got over the first one away. Okay. I'm pretty sure I can do that in a very competent manner.
Right.
You say what you see, and that's that, right?
Yeah.
But baseball, very different than basketball and hockey, especially hockey, because the speed of it is the biplane and the talk show you essentially do in between that.
Right.
Right? That's so.
Craig, that should be your strength.
Yeah, but
you've done this your whole life.
Are you forgetting who his co-host is?
I know, but Susan's
she's going to be
fantastic.
She's going to be great. It's going to be amazing to listen to.
She's going to be great.
She's so easy to talk to. So easy.
Look, she and I do not know each other well, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to obviously talking to her and getting to know her prior to August 9th. I know all about her career, of course. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. Like, listen.
I can't wait.
As serious as it is, it's real business, and Yankee games mean something to a lot of people, obviously. And you have to treat it as such, and I will prepare for it and come in with, ready to do a very competent, hopefully very entertaining, solid broadcast where, if nothing else, people walk away from the weekend series going, you know what? He did a good job.
Yeah.
But it's also got to be fun. Like, it's sports. And it's going to be fun. And I'm going to have a fun time doing it. So I'm looking forward to it.
I wonder if your voice, meaning your your presentation voice, is going to be different than the Craig that we all know.
Look, my voice sucks. So
No. I'm not even talking about like the pitch and the tone. I'm just saying just how you come across.
All right, so here's the question. If it sounded like, here's the 3-2.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
It's not going to sound like that, that's for sure.
The proper Craig. Hey, well, what had happened was...
There's a good chance you'll hear Moses. I think Moses will come out over the 3 days. You might get a, hello! You might get that. But it's going to be fun.
So, what's a bigger accomplishment? Having the Yankees call you and say, broadcast the weekend series or being inducted into the Hall of Fame? Which one got you more excited?
Wow. I have to say, look, getting to the Hall of Fame is crazy, obviously. And I didn't see it coming when it came. So it's a great honor that people think of you behind your back in that light.
Yeah.
I also think they made the right decision. Look, the fact that Boomer got in and it wasn't Boomer and Carton 5 years ago, like, what are we waiting for?
No, I get you. I understand.
So I am very happy I got in. But listen, it's the Yankees, man. It's different. Yeah. They're different. Like, there's only 4, 5, 6 teams in all sports that have even close to the cachet the Yankees have, like the Dallas Cowboys have. I assume, in hockey, it's the Canadians, or maybe it's the Rangers, right? And I was thinking about, like, how many people on the planet at any point over the last 50 years or for the next 50 years will be able to say that they did an NBA game. In this case, I did 3 Nets games, Jersey Nets and Brooklyn Nets. An NHL game. We did the Islander Penguin game a number of years ago when they were playing in Brooklyn. Obviously, the Islanders were. And now I'm going to do a Yankee game. And outside of maybe Bob Costas and Kenny Albert.
Yeah, Kenny Albert, what I was thinking of, but I don't know if he's done baseball. Has he done baseball?
Yeah, he's been a Fox baseball guy for like the second game. It's like the non-Joe Buck game and now Joe Davis game.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine.
John Sterling did it. John Sterling has done Nets, Islanders, and Yankees, but it's a very exclusive class.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
But now you just need football. Otherwise,
right. Well, I'm going to call Eric Shanks up at Fox after I talk to you guys and say, listen, if this goes well, make me the 7th team with Tiki.
That'd be something. Well, congratulations. I can't wait, personally. I mean, August 9th, I'm locked in. I'm listening to every second of Yankees Rangers on the radio that weekend.
Yeah, hold on, but don't do me a favor.
Yeah.
Save all commentary unless it's good for postgame, will you please?
No, of course.
I don't want to be sitting there in the 3rd inning and I hear Evan goes, Carton got that stat wrong. He doesn't know the rule. Like, if I'm like, wait a minute, Susan, it's the 10th inning. Why is there a guy on second base?
You should do that anyway, just because it'll be fun.
When did he get a hit? Who walked in and
well, congrats, Craig. We'll be listening. This is awesome. I can't
Really
wait.
is.
Looking forward
it's
to
crazy. Like I've been blessed, obviously, to have like a second shot at my career. After the self-inflicted wounds I created, where I went away and wasn't on radio at all for 3 years, and to be able to come back and work with Evan for 2.5 years, to get the job at FS1. To get into the Hall of Fame, and now that this call came in, it's like one of those pinch yourself moments. Like, is this really the Yankees? And on my caller ID it said New York Yankees. I'm like, oh, it's the Yankees. And they're like, we have this great idea. We think you'd be great.
Amazing. Do you want people to tweet you home run calls, or do you?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
As we get closer, maybe I'll come back on with you guys that week, or I'll come in and we can have some fun with that. And one of the side parts of this that's great, again, selfishly for me, is that one of my best friends now in the world is really nothing more than a pen pal. It's Aaron Boone.
That's right.
Yeah.
Booney.
Now, Aaron Boone and
you'll finally get to meet him in person?
we've never met in person.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. And I'm going to call him after I call you guys. I'm not. By the way, is he on the staff for the All-Star game or not?
No, I don't think so. I think he's getting a genuine All-Star break, Booney.
So he's probably in the Bahamas with his family or something. So maybe not leave him alone.
Yeah, call him anyway.
I'm looking forward to meeting him. I've never met the guy.
It's going to be great. You show up to the office, say, hey, let's talk. I'm calling tonight's game.
Here's the real question. Like, at some point, if you see something like Giancarlo Stanton walking to second base, you might have to be critical. I'm wondering, does my phone ring on the way home from the Yankees? Like, yeah, you're
well,
back
save that until Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
All right, bro. We appreciate it, man. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you for having me on.
Congrats,
August
Craig.
9th, 10th, 11th, pretty cool moment, and looking forward to it, and it's going to be awesome. So
Yes, indeed. There he is, the great Craig Carton. You see him on TV
Hall of
every
Famer.
morning. You're right. Let me rephrase that.
Right.
The Hall of Fame.
There's a difference between
Craig
being
Carton.
great and being a Hall of Famer.
That is, you know what? You're right. The Hall of Famer, Craig Carton. Breaking news. He will be doing play-by-play right here on WFAN next to Susan Waldman for Yankees Rangers August. Sorry. No, it's serious. I'm not joking. It's very tough to get through without laughing. Craig will be calling the Yankee Rangers series with Susan Waldman between August 9th and 11th right here on WFAN.
How many people would kill for that?
Oh, my God.
Kill for that opportunity.
That's incredible.
And he just gets it.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
Blessed. He is blessed.
Yankees called him up and they begged him. They said, we need you. We'll come back. We'll get back to your phone calls, 888-808-1019, and we'll each make a prediction on what's going to happen tonight.